up, everybody? It's 313J Mo. I'm here with another video for y'all. We gonna talk about Bob Quinn and his interview, his pre-draft interview. We gonna have some discussions about it. And I'm gonna just get right into it because there's a lot of things going on. Y'all know the draft is coming up. Y'all know me and the Dead End Sports Alliance are doing something for the draft. So I'm very excited about that. Now let's get into it. So first, Bob Quinn, he started off talking about the juniors. He said a lot of juniors are coming in, and that's true. A lot of more juniors are coming into the draft because they think they can get drafted. They think they're better than some of these other players. And he was saying that basically he thinks the same amount of juniors are going to get drafted, and some of these players really don't know how good they are, and people are telling them to come out. And the thing about the juniors that I paid attention to is he was saying that it's depth. So basically, since more juniors are coming in this year, you could pick up a junior this year later in the round that you couldn't pick up last year because the players aren't as good. It's more depth at those positions. So if when we're getting stuff in the later rounds, look for juniors that are on the board that are good for those certain positions at depth. And then he moved on. He started talking about the defense. You can see he was very, very excited about the defense, very, very excited about the versatility. He said there's a lot of players that don't necessarily fit the traditional measurables, and what that tells me is now we got to start looking at the players that don't fit the measurables on the defensive end. His arms are too short or this or that. He doesn't have the right speed, explosiveness, the height. But he thinks even though some of those players might not be able to fit that you can still use those players on third down. You can still use those players in all of these nickels and sub packages. And he's trying to weed out and find out which ones, can fit the bill for that. And then, they start asking him about trading down, and Bob Quinn said it firmly. He said this firmly to where I gotta put it up here. I don't think we have the ammunition, or I don't think I have the ammunition to trade up. So basically saying I don't got enough to trade up. It's a few guys that I want to trade up for. Of course, it's a few guys I want to trade up for. It's a couple guys, but he's like, I don't think we're gonna do that. I'm looking to trade down, and there's guys at 8, and that's what I'm thinking. There's a couple guys at 8 that they really like, and if they get taken off the board, then they will trade down. So that's what I'm thinking about with Bob Quinn. Like, he made it firmly. He told y'all Bob Quinn is trading down or taking someone at 8. And with that, they asked him about trading back multiple spots, going back to 20. He's like, well, first of all, if you're going back to 20, then I gotta check from 8. I gotta check the next 13 spots. Basically, see all the players that are likely to come off the board and try to find that player that he wants at that range. Also, they asked about the offensive line, and Bob Quinn talked about the offensive line. He said, first of all, he believes that there's very good players in the Lions building that can go out and compete for these positions, on our own team. He said he feel like the offensive line, all of the coaches and all of that, all those things improved. And he also said there's depth in this draft on the offensive line, even as late as the 5th and 6th round. And specifically, there's depth on the interior offensive line. And it's just players all around that Bob Quinn's looking at. I mean, they even asked him about measurables versus production on the field with combine numbers. Y'all already know how I feel about that man from Mississippi State. Bob Quinn said this. He said this firmly. He believes in production over combine numbers, and he believes you should not change your draft board drastically. You shouldn't change it drastically just because somebody had a nice combine. See, Bob Quinn is telling you all these things, guys. Now back to the O-line. He went in depth. He's talking about how certain players are of certain positions. He looks like at their explosiveness, at if the way that they run block will pass block translate onto the different level. I know they've been looking at a lot of these offensive linemen very, very hard, and they've been looking at these guys, and they've been weeding it out. And I wouldn't be surprised if early on, we don't take an offensive lineman high. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we took one high, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't take one and we took one in, let's say, the 4th round. Because Bob Quinn, he's saying that it's depth at this O-line position. There's depth at a lot of positions. Of course, they asked about tight end. Again, Bob Quinn doesn't care where he takes a player. I think one thing about this interview is he was reiterating that there's depth. You don't go change things because of the combine. And he said with this draft compared to last year, so basically, look, Bob Quinn has been building this roster year by year. And at this point with the 9 picks that we have, Bob Quinn himself said that this year is more about best player available. So during the draft, that's something that you need to look out for. Like who do they say is the best player available on the board? Because Bob Quinn actually might be taking that person, because he said that we have a lot of depth. He said we've been building a lot of depth through the years, and he has a lot of faith in his staff. And now Bob Quinn has everything running like a well-oiled machine, and I think everybody is focused, everyone's together, and you can tell. So now that everyone's on the same page, they know what to do. They know that it's depth on the offensive line and it's depth for a lot of other positions. They know that some of the defensive players don't necessarily fit all the measurables, but they're still good. And they know that best player available most likely is what will be best for them in this situation with the way that the team is currently constructed. Okay. It seemed like everyone has a problem with this media about Quinn, Matt Patricia. So here we go, Dave Perkett asking a dumb question. He says something along the lines of, why did you tell everyone that you wanted to trade down? And Bob Quinn was like, because I wanted to tell the truth. Did you want me to lie? Just being condescending, to these guys, because you know the type of things that they do. And then I think it was what do they call him, Wojo or whatever. He asked a question along the lines of, well, you never had a top 10 pick before, so are you more worried about trading down? You haven't done this before, so how's it gonna work? And then Bob Quinn basically sat him down on a chastisement chair and was like, well, obviously if a good pick is a good pick, if somebody's offering you something and you don't need it, like if in the 2nd round our guys isn't there, but we got a few players for the 3rd round, we might take a 2nd round or 1st round pick next year and let them take that pick. Just a lot of things. And just being really, it's just funny how Bob Quinn treats the media, because the media, their questioning is terrible, and it's just a lot of things. And Bob Quinn be taking jabs at it. I just love it. But all in all, to summarize, Bob Quinn highlighted on a lot of the points that I already stated. One thing that we got to pay attention, there's depth. They're really looking at, the versatility of these defenders and the positions of success they can put them in. Like Deshaun Ham was somebody that we got, and they put him in the position for success, and he had a great season. And Bob Quinn looks at all the mock drafts. So all of the mock drafts that we be dropping and that the media be dropping and that Mel Kiper, Bob Quinn is looking at all the mock drafts to formulate his strategies too. And they I'm not gonna even say his name, but they keep on got that boy from Mississippi State on our mock draft. I even saw it today. We not taking that dude from Mississippi State. I'm not saying his name on here. I refuse to say his name on here. But it's all good, man. It's 313 J-Mo. If you got some thoughts about Bob Quinn's interview, if you have any thoughts about that, let me know. The draft is coming up soon. I know things are getting very, very excited. And Master Chef Bob Quinn back at it, dropping a little gems here, sprinkles here and there. Nothing too much. Bob Quinn, he stays reserved, he stays smart, he stays focused, he stays on his game, and that's it, man. Master Chef Bob Quinn back at it. It's 313 J-Mo. Like, comment, subscribe.